crowd.
Okay. Right. Trade book in hand. Have you got any secrets in there?
Not many. No, not many.
Where are things at with Nick Caulfield and adults? Do you think that might be pretty straightforward?
Oh, look, I met Sam when was it over the weekend, so we're working through that, so see how that pans out.
Where do you sit with Joe Gresham?
Still waiting for, obviously he's a restricted free agent, still waiting for that offer to go into him and into the AFL, so the fact that he's a restricted free agent, we'll look at what the offer is and decide what we want to do then.
What's the threshold for you to match it?
Oh, look, we really haven't got one right at the minute. It's just about knowing what, what his management will put forward, whether we want to match it or we don't want to match it. Obviously, we've looked at Jade and we know that he's a quality player, so we'll have a look at what the contract offer is. And Jade's got a really good relationship with Ross, so but we need some decent compensation for that to happen.
Is it good for you dealing with your old mate Adrian Doro again?
Good question. No, we get on fine. He's trying to do the best thing for his club. I'm trying to do the best for our club, and hopefully everything works out right.
What would you be prepared to offer to Paddy Dow?
Look, I had a discussion with Nick Austin on the weekend, and we've got something in place right at the moment, which we're happy just to sit on because we just want to see what sort of happens through trade week. So we're both pretty confident that we can get that deal done.
Adrian was here a short time ago regarding Dylan Shield and was pretty adamant that he's not in play.
Yeah.
Is he one that you're potentially going to hit him up about today?
Well, it was interesting because when that sort of came out, I sort of read it in the paper and I did inquire, but he told me that he was required us to play.
And that was it for you?
That was it.
So Freo said before that we're fair way apart ostensibly and Henry, where do you see that
Did David say that? Look, we've obviously got some players going out that sort of, I think, are around about the mark where Liam is, so we'll just need to wait and see what the market will tell us what those types of players are doing.
They're saying he's worth the top 10 and they're pretty firm on that. How do you see?
Top 10? I don't think that's any chance of happening, but we'll see what happens.
Is Caulfield pretty comparable to Dow, do you think, from a trade perspective in terms of balancing what that might be?
Oh, look, I think they're a little bit different situations. I mean, I think Nick's finished top 5 best and fairest. I think Paddy Dow's done that at the Carlton Football Club. But look, we'll work through it and hopefully both parties can come to an agreement.
If Essendon were prepared to change or their position changes on Dylan Shield, are the Saints interested in?
Well, we're open to anything. I mean, but at the same time, we've got to make sure that what we bring into our club is going to add to our group. So, the last conversation I had with Adrian is that, Dylan's a required player.
What do things sit with Jack Ellis?
Look, we've had some discussions with Jack and his management group. He's still got a 2-year contract with our club. I think his management group's sort of searching the market to see whether he can get other opportunities, but if that doesn't happen, we're happy to have Jack at our footy club.
Would you see Paddy Dow as a player making a starting 22 or a depth player as he's been in Carlton?
Well, I think he's got some upside. He's a midfielder. I think the latter part of this year probably showed you what he can do. So I think he'd be trying to come into our club thinking that he's part of the 22. As Ross said, we can't guarantee you a game, but it's all form based. But we think he's got enough talent to break into that 22.
Just took 4 players off your contract list, but Dan McKenzie's still one that's there.
Who's that?
Dan McKenzie, still one that's there. Where's the outcome in free agents? How's that frustrating?
Look, it's a work in progress with him. He's actually heading off overseas to get some specialist advice on one of his injuries, so we'll wait and see what happens there.
Dougal Howard staying,
Sorry?
Dougal Howard staying.
Yeah.
How challenging is it on Dow when you drafted them and you've got to assess them 3, 4 or 5 years later and obviously still see a lot of talent in those players? It's a bit more challenging.
I wouldn't say challenging. I mean, I think I've watched him enough and I think, when you target a player, you do your homework on this. Sure, I mean, most players that sort of change clubs have got some warts that come with them. So, you know, hopefully we've got a development group and a coaching group that can help to improve what he needs to improve. But having said that, you know, I think Paddy's up against a reasonable midfield at Carlton that he just hasn't been broken into. So I think once they brought Chira through the door and Hewitt through the door, it made it a bit tougher for him.
In terms of Ross's philosophy over the next few years, is it about more overall going to the draft and maybe top out and bringing in that young talent, particularly with Tasmania coming in with somewhat soon?
Yeah, I think most clubs would be looking at that. They've got an eye on for now, but an eye on knowing what's going to happen, you know, 2-3 years down the track with Tasmania coming through. So, you know, we'd like to hit the draft, but also if we can bring some players in that are going to help us and make our team stronger, we'll do that as well.
You were on this side of the fence this time last year. What have you learned from that time being out that you can take into this period?
Don't believe the press. I'm not kidding.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.